Hey everybody and welcome to the show. In this episode I got to sit down with Tercia Nilsson. Now Tercia and I have known each other for quite a few years now, but we've never really taken the time just to sit down and have a good chat and get to know each other better. So I really enjoyed this opportunity to sit down with Tercia. She has an amazing story, she's a really lovely person, and she had a lot to share. And she's got a really great story of moving from New Zealand over to Australia, and then just the challenges that have come through that and how she's overcome those challenges. But I think the biggest takeaway for myself was just how much Tercia loves other people, how much of a servant heart she has just to see other people flourish. And I really seen that in Tercia. It's something I really admire about her, and it's something that I really took away from this conversation as something for myself to work on. So I really hope you enjoy this conversation. It was so much fun for me. I learned a lot. I really hope you do too. And enjoy the episode. I'm sorry this one wasn't recorded. I didn't have any camera gear at this time. But nonetheless, it's a really great listen, and I really hope you enjoy it. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye, guys. So Tercia, thank you so much for sitting down on the podcast, on the show.
Thanks for having me. Your house smells really nice, by the way.
Oh, that's not me. That's Danielle's candle. Well, the house didn't smell so nice that I had to put a little candle thing on. So I'm glad you can smell it.
It smells great. Woman's touch.
But as I said to you before, one of the reasons that I kind of wanted to sit down and chat today is because we know each other. We see each other, we chat to each other, but we haven't really chatted for an extended period of time, I guess. Not that I can remember anyway, unless you can, but that would be awkward on my part.
I know everything about you. But it's
okay. Well, excellent. There's not much to know. Well, maybe, I don't know. But really stoked to be able to sit down and learn more about your story and just chat about life and see what happens. So thanks so much for coming along.
Thanks for having me.
So as we were talking before, and maybe people have already picked it up, but you are originally not from Australia.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
I am from New Zealand. Can you actually hear it still in my voice?
Oh, yeah. Like heaps.
Yeah.
Plus, I think you've got a tattooed on your arm there.
I do have a tattoo of New Zealand. Some people have asked if I'm from Italy, which is hilarious.
I guess because the...
Yeah.
Wow.
Or if I've
travelled there. Kind of does a little bit.
Well,
one island, maybe. But people do not know their geography.
No, they don't. So
whereabouts in New Zealand are you from?
I'm from the South Island of New Zealand, a little place called Cromwell in Central Otago.
Yeah.
It's like amazing.
Near Queenstown?
Yeah, so it's like if you go Queenstown, Wanaka, Arrowtown, it's like all between those.
Would you say they're all the best places?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Like, I mean, who goes to New Zealand and goes, I'm going to Auckland unless
unless you go there for, I don't know, business or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Or isn't there like the Real Housewives of Auckland or something?
Is there?
I think so.
Oh, I've got to watch that.
It's embarrassing that I know that.
It really is, actually.
I promise I haven't watched it.
Lies. I watch those trashy TV shows, so I love it. It's so funny. But now I didn't know. Now I'm going to watch it. So.
Yeah, it'll change your life, I imagine.
Really?
That's what Channel 9 will tell you anyway.
Oh, of course.
So how long were you in New Zealand for?
So I grew up, like, obviously born there, and we moved here when I was 22. So
okay.
Yeah, I'm 23 now. No, just kidding.
23. Wow.
Yeah. No, I'm not.
There you go.
I've been here for a long time, but 22 years in New Zealand. Loved it. Best place.
Best place.
Yeah.
So why'd you move then, if it's the best place?
Oh, well, that's a long story. I guess
we've got time, but if you don't want to go into it, we don't have to.
No, like we had just gotten married, and we were a part of a church. Yeah. /
This
cult.
is you and John, your husband?
Yeah, me and John,
yeah.
husband. Literally had just got married. We knew each other for like a year and a half and got married within 3 months of like going out, and then we got married and we were a part of like a church / cult in New Zealand, and our pastors back then had moved to Western Australia and asked if we wanted to go with them. And we were like, yeah, because, you got to jump on that cult bandwagon, and moved to WA.
Wow.
And so, yeah, that's why we moved.
Were you part of churches before?
Oh, no. I hadn't not grown up in church at all. We used to have this man called Mr. Buxton, who's passed on, gone to be with Jesus now.
Yeah.
He used to go around the neighborhood in a van. Like, literally, this is what most people fear for their children now, but he would go around in a van, white van, and pick up all the neighborhood kids and take them to Sunday school.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nowadays that would be like a horror movie or something.
Oh, yeah. You're like, exactly.
Yeah, that's amazing that he was doing that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It was really cool. So that's how I got introduced to who God was and Jesus, like at a really young age. But yeah, so didn't know really church much at all because, I was like 4, 5, 6 years old.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
You kind of had been exposed to it, but
Yeah.
you had no faith of your own, or
Nah.
didn't dig in deeper because I guess at 6 you don't really do those things. You got other things to do, don't you?
Yeah. And so.
And then how did you become then part of this church?
Our town is like tiny in New Zealand.
How many
Cromwell.
people? Like when you say tiny, how tiny is tiny?
Less than 3,000 people.
Okay, that's like a high school here.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly. I basically went to summer high.
Yeah.
It's literally Cromwell is like, if you could describe it, it would be like a cross between Gilmore Girls and Neighbours.
Yeah. So tiny, everybody knows each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
And there's drama all the time.
Yeah.
So.
When I drove through there when we were in New Zealand, I think I might be making this up, but is there a big like fruit or something on a stick?
Yes.
Yeah.
The fruit that's Cromwell.
So are they known for that?
Yeah, that's pretty much. Like most other people in New Zealand probably wouldn't even know Cromwell, to be honest.
Are they known for apples?
No, we're known for wine, really.
Oh, I thought they would be known for apples because it'd be Apple Cromwell.
Yeah, no.
That's shocking.
It's a bad joke.
So anyway, back to after taking you off course just then, how did you? So if you had never, I don't want to like dig into this too much, but I just find it really interesting. Like if you hadn't had any exposure to church or anything for what you were 6 and then you were 22 or whatever, that's a few years. I can't do math on the spot.
Yeah.
How did you then find yourself in a quote unquote cult?
Right. Well, I mean, I do believe that everybody's searching for something.
Yeah.
And searching for God, really. I mean, it says puts eternity in our hearts, and I really do believe that. And so I think I was like 17, 18 years old, and I was walking through our little mall. We call them malls. Like you would call it the corner shop here because it's like legit. There's only a few shops. And there was a sign on the window that said, "Kick the hell out of life."
Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, what is this about? And then I just went in one day and
Into a shop. Oh, was it a church?
it was a church.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was until I went in, and then I met someone called Anna.
Yeah.
Who is now my sister-in-law.
Wow.
Yeah, but that's a whole other story. Oh my God.
And so is that how you met John?
Yeah, I met John through Anna.
Okay.
Through going to this church.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, and that's how I come to know this church / cult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so how did you, when you say cult,
Yeah.
what do you mean by cult? Like, because I guess that's a word that can be thrown around a lot. Like I call things cults that I get in trouble for calling them all the time.
Oh yeah, I go to F45. I call that a cult.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Yeah. So in that sense, like, if you want to, what would you say made it a cult?
Right. Oh, it's a hard one. I say church / cult because I thought it was a church, but I definitely now know it was like cult. What I would say was a cult was like, their teachings are, it's semi-biblical based, I guess, but it's all pointing towards lifting up the head pastors.
Yeah, righto.
Yeah, it's really hard to describe sometimes because
That's okay.
it's so subtle in how they do it, but it's definitely elevating up the leaders of the church. The other things that are now very, like, I guess, as a cult, they just kicked heaps of people out and called them Jezebels.
Yeah, that sounds weird. That doesn't sound like a normal church.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they would, like, give deliverance. I guess if you don't know what deliverance is, like expelling demons.
Okay.
Like every single week. Everyone who pretty much was a part of church was always getting deliverance. And now we know that that's not normal.
No.
But I didn't know church.
Because I imagine that the pastors weren't getting deliverance then.
Oh, no. No, they
were top dogs.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I see what you mean. So they'd kind of taken things out of context and used them to sort of create a band of followers who were reliant on them.
For sure.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I would say that fits the definition of a cult.
For sure.
Guess. Yeah.
And it was just leading people away from community and families. So families were getting torn apart.
Yeah. Which is not. Was it a Christian church?
Yeah.
Like they were using the Bible and
for sure.
Yeah. So I guess now when you can look back on it, you can go, well, hang on, that's like the opposite of what the correct picture of the Christian church and the Bible says. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And it's even kind of like, even though it's been many years and I've actually done years and years of counselling to come out of it because it kind of ruined my mental health.
Oh, it'd be a huge thing for you.
For sure.
Definitely.
That I like come out and it's sometimes still hard to talk about.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Like even the thought of talking about it now knowing it's being recorded is
we can edit stuff. We can delete that if you want.
It's all good. Yeah. I feel like, it's good to talk about it too.
Yeah.
And maybe someone's been through it. Who knows?
Oh, yeah. I don't know, but you can only go by what you hear about on news, like the news and things like that, which sometimes you have to take that with a grain of salt as well. But it seems like there are quite a few of those things like popping up because, as you say, people are searching for something.
Yeah,
people have never been so lonely, and they're looking for meaning and direction. So I feel like with no expertise or evidence to back this claim up, but maybe now more than ever people are more vulnerable to that kind of thing where people can go, hey, come with me, let's be a part of something bigger, like kick the life. What'd you say? Kick the life out of hell was the kind of a thing or something. Wasn't no, kick the hell out of life.
Kick the hell out of life is what kick the life out of hell.
Yeah, I guess that kind of is that's more of a biblical thing. Then maybe so by sharing your story and that, whoever's listening, maybe there is somebody that go, you know what, wow, that's my story right now. Maybe I should at least question this and go, is this correct?
Yeah. Or even just like, I guess being hurt by church. That's my biggest thing. Like people going to hurt people all the time. Yeah. We disappoint each other, but like, it's got to learn how to get over it.
That's the issue, isn't it? The people are always going to get hurt when people are involved. Yeah, unfortunately,
exactly.
Because we're all nowhere near perfect.
Nah, not at all.
Yeah, definitely. So you moved to Australia, to WA,
to Western Australia, Bunbury,
place called where's
Bunbury.
that?
It's like an hour and a half south of Perth.
Okay.
I think they classify it as the second biggest city in WA.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. So is it bigger than Fremantle?
Yeah, bigger than Fremantle for sure.
That's crazy because you always hear about. Well, I always hear about Perth and Fremantle.
Yeah. No, it's bigger. I'm pretty sure it's bigger than. It's like I'm pretty sure the population is like 120,000 or something.
Yeah,
so that's bigger than Fremantle for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you live there, so it sounds right.
Yeah. It's honestly the most amazing place. Like.
Yeah, it's meant to be beautiful over in WA.
It's amazing.
In parts of WA. I think some parts are pretty hot and dry and gross, but
No, it's definitely beautiful, like beaches, sandy white beaches, whales, dolphins, like you'll see it all.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So was it a challenge, like obviously moving from a little town in New Zealand to then going over with John, moving over to, was it Bunbury?
Bunbury, yeah.
That would have been challenging, right?
Yeah, I mean, we were like young,
Yeah.
like 22 is so young,
Yeah.
and you're just naive and excited for change. I'd lived in the same town forever.
Yeah, that's true.
So for me, it was like exciting. John was pretty excited, I think.
John's pretty chill.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
real chill.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever met a chiller person.
Oh yeah, no, it's annoying sometimes. Like, just yell back at me. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty chill. So we moved there, and like we were just naive, I guess, young, and we were still in the cult
Okay.
because they were going over there to plant.
Okay,
a
so
church.
they were kind of expanding.
Yeah.
So, yes. All right. Yeah.
So their job was plant another church, and we were like, we will follow.
All for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
As you would be, I guess.
Yeah.
wouldn't it? Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they were like, they asked us to come, and back then we would have been like, we will drop everything for you.
Yeah. So they were nice people. They like, even though you now realize some of the things that they were doing was a bit
Yeah.
like they were obviously people that you felt that you could follow and trust at the time. And,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, really nice people.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, just nice people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just didn't do nice things, that's all.
Yeah.
Use the church or Bible and just destroyed lives.
Mm.
And we were also in
Yeah.
the just being destroyed, right, basically.
Yeah. That does not sound like fun.
Nah, it's
So
not.
how did you? So obviously you're now in Brisbane,
Yeah.
sitting in my living room. How did you, I guess, get out of that situation?
Yeah. I mean, it's like when we were in Bunbury, and we were planting this church, it just never grew at all. Like, it was just them, their children, John and myself and one other man. And John and I were praying. We were young and I wanted friends.
Yeah.
I was lonely. I was like, I've had the same friends for my whole life, and they were back in New Zealand. And yeah, they went for a holiday for 2 weeks, and they come back and they said, we're just letting you know we're leaving.
Wow.
And there was a whole lot of sort of messiness in that. But basically they were like, we're going. And
We're done,
you're a
kind of
Jezebel.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was the
That's
excuse.
rough.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
just, we're leaving. We moved over here. It was only 6 months in, and then they were like, yeah, you're a Jezebel.
So
And
from
really-
like that, they've gone from something about that holiday. They've gone from you're the best person, you need to help us, to
Yeah,
we will outcast you now.
yeah,
Oh.
we're done. You're out.
That would have been so confusing.
Oh, it really was, because that was my only view of church.
Yeah.
So yeah, after that we we're a bit messy, but we found this awesome church, which I think was like the extreme other side of what a church,
Yeah, wow.
I guess, of our church was like.
In what way? Like,
I don't know how to say it without sounding legalistic and all churchy, because I
That's
don't know
fine.
if that's like your podcast thing, but that's what I like.
just say it. It's all
church.
good.
Um,
It's just it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Like,
okay.
Yeah.
Basically, it's like people are pregnant on the worship team and they're not married, and
Yeah.
I think most of the worship team would be out on the Saturday night getting drunk, and then they'd be leading worship the next morning.
So this is at the new church.
Yeah, this is a new
Okay,
church
yeah.
in Bunbury.
So you say, oh, okay. So by the opposite, you meant not so much that they were like really the perfect picture of the
Yeah,
the other.
yeah.
Like, so it was the church that you were at was quite like very conservative.
It was
I
like
guess.
just follow rules,
Yeah,
like
very rules.
very
Yeah.
rule based.
Whereas these
um,
guys were,
Yeah.
really stretching that.
Pretty much.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in that, we met some of the most amazing people
Yeah. Cool.
who are still in our lives today.
That's
And,
awesome.
Yeah. And taught us grace and mercy and how to feel normal and do normal church again, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I said that's rough for some reason. That's the opposite of rough. I don't
yeah,
know.
they
what
were
it-
ruffians.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll just use that for everything. But that's awesome. That's really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
That's cool that it was through those people that you met that they were able to kind of show you.
Yeah.
Not so much, I guess, what a real, like a church looks like, but more this is what Christians, this is how we should treat people, and this is how we actually are as people.
Exactly.
You know, we're normal, everyday people.
Yeah.
Living everyday lives, but loving people extravagantly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, the people who have helped us weren't the ones doing the, I guess going out and drinking and all that sort of stuff. They were like Bible loving, like God fearing, Bible reading Christians that, have the most amazing faith I've ever seen.
Wow.
Yeah. Steve and Grace Furman. If you ever listen to this, I love you.
There you go.
I love you.
I'm sure they are listening to it.
Yeah.
We've got millions of people.
Oh, for
like
sure. 100%.
Not to make you nervous or anything.
No, they are like, wow, they're amazing.
That's so cool.
So.
And you're still in contact with them today, you said?
Yeah, and like their daughter who lives here is married and just had a baby.
Oh, great.
We're friends with them and
Nice.
hang out with them often. So.
And so how long were you in I keep forgetting the name
Bunbury.
of Bunbury for you. How long were you there for?
That's everyone when they visit WA. They're like, what place? Bunbury.
Yeah, it's amazing. I've heard of it, but I don't. Not many times. Anyway.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. But yeah, I think we're there 3 or 4 years, 5 years maybe. I can't even remember. 5 years, 4.
So a fair while after.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, for sure. So we were there and it was like it was a life defining 4 years for us. Yeah, because we had to restructure and learn everything again about God and church
and just learn to trust people.
Yeah, that too.
Like even if you just separate if you take church and God out of it, just the experience you had with those people.
Yeah.
That I imagine if you didn't have good people around you and, as you said, you've done some counselling and things like that, you would be very skeptical. Well, I know I would be very skeptical of everything.
Yeah, for sure.
You're non-trusting. Whatever that word is, distrusting.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Distrust. Yeah.
Sounds right.
What would you say?
I think so. Distrusting. Sounds right.
What else?
We'll go with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's great that you had people around you that could kind of help you through that situation.
Yeah. No, they were like amazing. So, and you, I think that it helped that we were young.
Yeah.
So.
You hadn't kind of, even though you'd been with them for a few years.
Yeah.
Like you hadn't been there for 30 years or something, and that's all you had known.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're still young and
and naive, and we were probably really young and stupid, as like just.
Well, I think especially around that 22-year-old age. I know when I was 22, I was so just searching so much for what am I going to do? What am I going to do?
Yeah.
What's going to be the thing that defines my life?
Exactly.
And you don't see the big picture.
No.
So
you have an idea in your mind of what you think's life's going to be like.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not always.
Did you? If we go back a bit, like say when you're a teenager kind of thing, did you have like like some people have it where they go, I really want to do this. Like this is my big dream and goal. Yeah. Did you have anything like that, do you think?
No.
Not really?
No, because I was like, I just become a Christian at like 17, 18-ish. And to me, I was just in this whole bubble of like completely changing my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I just grew up, I guess, out of church. So it's like normal to just, drink and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I was learning how to not do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like excessively drinking, like getting drunk, things like that.
Yeah. Because I guess you just live to party.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
you live for the experiences, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we lived in honestly, that's what you do in small towns. Yeah. People, like majority of the people I grew up with still live in the tiny town with all their kids.
Yeah, it's like that cycle, generational cycle thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which I guess in one way is not a bad thing because people need to live in those towns.
Yeah.
But I know a couple of people who grew up in some really small towns in like what do you call it? Western Queensland, I guess you would say.
Oh, yeah.
Like way out near the border there.
Yeah.
The same thing, like the generations have been there, and it's just this cycle. You grow up, you take over from your parents on their farm,
Yeah.
and it's the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
Which to me sounds horrible. But for those guys, like that's their life.
Exactly.
Like someone's got to do it.
Yeah.
And you know they're cattle farmers.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, if no one did that, and sorry to all the vegans and vegetarians listening, like there'll be no meat to
Exactly.
eat. You know? So
Yeah, they're like, woohoo.
yeah, exactly. So
yeah, no, you're right. And it's their life. Like they enjoy it, I guess. And
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, people back home, they enjoy simple life.
yeah,
They enjoy, working at New World, which is a supermarket.
it's like Coles, right?
Yeah.
Sort of. IGA.
So, yeah, it's pretty much like, I'd say like IGA.
Yeah,
But we sell alcohol at the supermarket. It's weird.
it's pretty cool actually.
You don't have to go to like the bottle-o
Yeah,
afterwards. Anyway, so they're still the same jobs from
Yeah.
when we were in high school. I was a deli girl when I was like at high school, and they're still there. So
yeah.
yeah,
Which is like, there's no judgment on that. Like,
not
it's
at
just
all.
it's just a different way of life. Like,
Exactly.
you know, I was a checkout chick dude at the Coles or barcode boy or whatever. That was like my first job, and we do click and collect. You know, like how you can do that. And yeah, not long ago, I went and click and collected, got the shopping, and it was one of the girls who I was at. Like, we started the same day at
Yeah.
Coles. And, you know, I'll be honest, like at the start, I was like, oh, wow, is she still here?
yeah,
But then when I actually struck up a conversation, like, she didn't recognize me very well because I'm bald now.
right.
I look a lot different than I did when I was 14 and a half or however old I was. But anyway, I introduced myself and she's like, oh, that's right, because I think she could, you know, you can still recognize someone.
Yeah,
And I started talking to her and she's like, no, like my husband, he's doing other things and this is the job that works well with my kids.
yeah,
And like I had to really like almost check myself and be like, man, I judged the crap out of her at the start there.
yeah.
But she's like probably happier. And, like,
Exactly.
she's like likes her job, loves her job,
Yeah,
you know? So
yeah, exactly.
that's,
No judgment for people back home. I love you. Yeah, I love going back and seeing everybody. And
How often
Yeah.
do you go back?
we try and go back as often as we can. This last year we've been back twice or 3 times, I think. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That's good then.
yeah, it's good.
Are you from a big family? Do you have many much family over there?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
okay.
I've got 3 sisters and 1 brother,
Okay.
and a stepbrother and a stepsister.
And where do you sit in the age bracket of that?
Right in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Middle child,
Middle
hey?
child.
Yeah, me too.
I'm forgotten about. Mum and Dad, do you remember me?
yeah.
My name's Tercia.
Yeah. Did your older siblings and your younger siblings like gang up on you a bit, like in games and stuff like that?
We never really ganged up on each other.
Oh, okay.
I feel so sorry for my mum, but we'd all like pick on my mum. So,
Yeah, right. Wow.
yeah, we're mean,
Okay.
but like that. But
Yeah, I had 2 brothers and I was in the middle.
Yeah.
And we picked on each other a lot.
really,
And if I was picking on one of them, because I was the middle, then there was always one other person. And so my younger brother, he would then gang up with my older brother on me, this sort of thing. But I feel like it never worked if they were picking on each other and then I came in.
yeah.
Then they would turn back to me again. It's like,
You're like, this isn't working.
I want a friend to gang up with somebody with. But
Wait, you have an older brother?
yeah,
Ah.
Dave. He goes to Gateway.
I don't think I've met Dave.
Nah, he goes to the morning service.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah,
he has a
that'll be
kid.
why.
He has a child now.
Okay.
So they're definitely morning service people.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, he's 3 years older than I am.
Oh yeah.
And then Rodney, he is 2 years younger.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
So I'm in the middle.
He's got a puppy baby, a dog baby.
Yeah, it's definitely not a baby. Oh man, it's like a big Lucy, the big Labrador.
Yeah, it's pretty cute.
She's crazy. Yeah, she's cute. She's crazy. That's for sure. Danny is terrified.
Oh, really?
Because Jenny's got a phobia of dogs.
Oh, right. That's right.
And this dog is, it's nuts.
Just crazy.
Because it's like, those Labrador puppies.
Oh,
or
yeah.
like they're a puppy essentially. They're like an adult body
Yeah.
in like a 1-year-old's thing.
It's true.
And so it like doesn't realize how big it is, I don't think.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't realize.
And then just runs full on and doesn't know how to like slow down.
Yeah, actually, I haven't been over that much to see it, but I was over there not long ago. This is getting random now, but some of my stuff's at his house because he owns his own house. And we live in like a townhouse.
Yeah.
So there's not as much room. And she has this dog has this thing for mowers, right? Like hates mowers.
Hates it.
And I got a mower over there, and I was just wheeling it, and it grabbed onto the wheel and just started dragging the mower across. And Ronnie's like, yeah, she does that.
Oh,
she
that's
just
funny.
has this crazy fear or something of mowers. It's nuts.
Just
Yeah.
grabs it and runs with it.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, it is
I
funny.
actually have seen Rod's house.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, because I think he was giving away weights or something, and John went and picked them up.
Oh, righto, yeah.
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 So there you go.
There you go. So you've been to his
Been
house.
to his house.
So how'd you move to Brisbane?
Yeah, so we moved. How did we move to Brisbane? Feels so long ago. Well, John was working over in WA as a meat worker. So he worked for Woolworths Meat Company.
Is a meat worker like working in abattoir?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he did all the meat there, and they would pack it and send it to all the Woolworths companies in the southwest of WA. And that's what he did. And he pretty much only started that job because he's like a hunter back in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Our first date was rabbit shooting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very romantic.
It was so romantic.
Are you from that kind of background as well?
Yeah. I didn't mind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a cool though. It's a cool first date.
It was called first date.
Yeah.
Blowing heads off rabbits, so I don't know how much.
Did it go off with a bang, like a bang? Shocker.
Real good bit. They need to stay in the podcast.
Oh, they will. They definitely will. Trust me. That's what people are here for.
So he started Meat Company.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to learn how to cut up an animal properly.
Yeah, okay.
So he thought he'd learn that there. And then he learned till he could there and wanted to get into construction. And my dad and my brother and my stepbrother are all like crane driver, rigger dogmans.
Oh, righto.
Yeah. So my dad said, yeah, come over here and I'll get you a job and some tickets. And yeah. So he come over and has been doing that for like the last 10 years or something.
Wow.
I think. Yeah.
So does your dad and stepbrothers, do they live in Brisbane?
Yeah, or they used to live here. They've all moved back home now.
Yeah.
And we stayed. But yeah.
Yeah.
All of them actually, one by one, moved back.
Because that crane driver rigger, that's a pretty hard business to get into, I think. If you don't have family in it and stuff.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely who you know.
Yeah.
Not what you know.
It's pretty, I remember because I used to be an electrician and we'd be on construction sites and I'd be looking up at these crane operators being like, man, you guys have a pretty awesome job.
Yeah.
They work hard.
Yeah.
But I think they get paid really well.
Yeah. Very well.
And I remember talking to one of the guys, I was like this first year apprentice who was disillusioned and hating my job. You're like, hey, how do I get a job with you guys? Like, don't tell my boss. He's like, trust me, if you don't know somebody in it, there's no point. I'm like, well, I know you now. He's like, well, that's not good enough. So that didn't work out too well.
Oh, yeah, it's like, I don't know if John would have, how far he would have got really if it wasn't for my dad.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's a good opportunity.
Yeah.
He jumped at it. And he's still doing that, isn't he?
Yeah, he's still doing it. Like my dad's been a crane driver for years and years and years.
Yeah.
So even before they moved here to New Zealand.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he was doing that over in New Zealand.
Yeah, for sure. And then, so he was like a main crane operator on the Gateway Bridge.
Oh, really?
In Brisbane, yeah.
Like when the first Gateway Bridge or when they
like
the new how they put one next to it.
Yeah, the new one.
Yeah,
so,
wow.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big job.
Yep. So he's got a great job. And then my brother, and that's how we come over here because he wanted to get a new job and it's like that paid better, I guess, and was closer to New Zealand because it's a really long way from WA.
Yeah, it
Insanely
would be.
long flight
That is a long way.
and it's expensive.
That's like an 8-hour flight or something.
Yeah.
Can
I
you
think
even
it's
fly
longer than that.
direct from Perth or wherever it would be Perth to?
I think we went like Perth, Sydney, over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
so-
how long is it from Perth to Sydney? Like 3? No, it's like
no,
5 hours.
That's
isn't
like
it?
5 or 6 hours,
Yeah.
I think.
So it'd be almost like
Whole day.
it's
of
like
travel.
3 hours or 3.5 hours from Brisbane to to Christchurch.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a long flight.
Yeah.
That's like the same as going to Thailand or
Yeah.
somewhere.
Well, people that lived in WA actually went to like Bali, go to Bali often because
Yeah.
it's way cheaper and it's just way closer.
Yeah, it's only a couple of hours or so, isn't it?
Yeah. So,
Ah, there you go.
yeah.
So that would have been tough, I guess. Like exciting, but also because you've just met all these new
Yeah.
friends and stuff. Really, people that you love that are in
WA.
Bunbury.
Bunbury,
Got
well
it.
done.
And now you're moving there, leaving there again.
Yeah.
How'd that feel like?
Yeah, I was excited again. We were really young still.
Well, how old are
so-
you now? Like you must be
Oh, yeah.
25. Like how
Yeah.
long? How old are you at this time?
Like moving to here?
Yeah,
Yeah, 25-ish, I
25
think.
is, yeah.
Yeah, so, you know.
Mid-20s, the world's still like life's ahead of you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I moved here and you just, you're leaving behind really good friends whom I still absolutely adore.
Mm.
And, yeah, starting a whole new life
Yeah.
again.
So exciting, but also like, oh, here we go again, sort of.
Yeah.
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 So,
And then so you got to Brisbane, and then so John obviously had a job. He got into the crane business and
Yeah.
doing his thing. So what did you get into? Like what was your
well, ever since I was really young, I've been in hospitality.
Okay.
So, I've run cafes from when I was like 18.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. So I just found it's super easy to get when you've got experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't
And-
do barista courses and think you get a job because you won't get a job.
How do you get a job then?
You need experience. Yeah.
But how do you get experience? That's the
Oh, you
catch.
start from the bottom.
Yeah.
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 I know people are like, oh, hospitality, like it's nothing, but you actually get paid really well here.
Mm.
Like in New Zealand, you get paid nothing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And here, you get paid pretty well. So
Yeah, you do. I've seen some like ads online where they're after like waitresses and waiters and
Yeah.
baristas and it's pretty good.
Yeah.
The salaries you can get.
I mean, $26 an hour to start on.
Yeah, that's really good.
Actually not bad.
That's not bad at all.
So, yeah, and that's a starting rate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really good.
Yeah. So that's what I have done for many, many years.
So do you enjoy it though? Like you said, obviously it's easy.
Yeah.
But if you've been doing it for that long,
Yeah.
do you enjoy it?
Well, I'm an introverted extrovert. I think we spoke about this once. How like I don't I'm not like an outgoing chatty person,
Yeah.
but at my work I slowly get to know people.
Yeah.
And so I enjoy that aspect and I love making coffee.
Yeah. You do a good coffee as
Yeah,
well. I've had a
thanks.
few of your coffees.
I do make good coffee.
I can
Doing it
recommend.
for so long now. So I do enjoy it. It's pretty
Yeah.
good.
So you like the people side of it,
Yeah.
like, and the staff side of it, like.
Yeah.
So it would suck if you worked at a place where you didn't like the staff. I imagine. Then.
Oh yeah. No,
Yeah.
that would be the
Yeah.
worst. And we actually have so chefs are usually pretty bad. Like they swear like troopers.
Yeah.
They treat people like crap.
Yeah.
And we have awesome chefs.
Oh, good.
Like, yeah.
And where do you work at the moment?
Banter Coffee House. Just shout out to
Shout
Banter.
out. You gotta cut. It's
On the
good
Bayside.
actually. Really nice food. Yeah.
Just
Do
down
they
the
still?
road.
Are they the guys that run D Dot as well?
Yeah, they have D Dot and Three Brews, which is like
Oh, I've heard of that one.
right
Where's
next
that?
to D Dot.
Oh, right
So
next.
it's- Yeah, it's
And
a
that-
restaurant.
A restaurant.
Mm.
Oh wow. Okay.
Well, it's like I think it's more a bar actually, not a restaurant.
Okay.
Yeah, with like tappers.
Yeah.
And then they just open a new one down Manly called Groundhog. Yeah, Groundhog Social. Have you heard about that?
No.
You
Where's
gotta
that?
go. You and Danny would love it. So do you know where the Manly Pool is?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's straight across the road from there. It's where that old fish and chip shop used to be.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Baywatch Cafe or something?
It's that, yeah, that was the old one.
Oh, man,
Yeah.
I love that fish
Oh,
and
really?
chip shop.
Well, now
That's
it's
my brother used to work there.
oh, there you go.
I used to love that place because they'd give you like, I don't know if this is a fish and chip shop thing, but you'd be like, can I get 4 pieces of fish, $2 worth of chips, and 4 potato scallops?
Right.
And you'd have like, this is why they went broke, because you'd have like 5 pieces of fish, 10 potato scallops, and it must be like $5 worth of chips.
Yeah.
So either they were super generous or they just had
Or
no
they just
idea what they were
I
doing.
think they had no idea. Is pretty much.
But as a family,
how
we
it's
used to
gone.
love it because you'd have so much food.
And you'd be like, here's $5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why they're not there anymore.
And now, Groundhog.
Okay.
And they open on Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays till late. So,
Oh, wow, okay.
yeah.
Definitely have to go and check it out.
I think you'll love it.
This is turning into like a place where we recommend food places.
I'm actually one of the best people. You need Jess Elsmore on here.
Yeah,
and
she's a
Kelly.
bit of a foodie, hey?
Yeah. She'll
Yeah.
tell you all the great brunch places.
Yeah. Could be like a new food vlog
Yes.
or whatever, the audio version of a podcast, I guess. Here we go.
And then you can, with your Aussie twang, you can just describe the food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Mm.
I'm not good at. I'm not a food connoisseur at all, though.
Oh, right.
I like, one, I eat way too fast, and 2, this sounds like so bogan, but I'm much more like a quantity over quality kind of guy.
Nah, that's John.
Yeah,
to a
yeah.
T.
I'm not interested in going to these places where it's like, I get that the food's probably beautiful, but it's like a tiny thing on a tiny plate.
Yeah.
I just want like a big burger
Yeah.
and chips.
Or steak and chips.
Yeah, yeah,
Or a chicken palmy.
yeah.
Yeah. I get you.
Yeah.
John's the same.
Yeah.
He's like, do they have bacon and eggs yet? Okay, cool, we'll go.
Yeah,
And it's like,
yeah.
okay.
I like that with eggs Benedict. I'm like,
Yeah,
if
John.
you got eggs Benedict on the menu, you're not worth going to.
I'm always like, you want to try this? Nah, he's too boring. Vanilla. So vanilla.
Yeah. So
Oh.
do you think that you'll is that your plan? Do you reckon be in hospitality for, like, I don't know if you plan this far ahead, but do
Yeah.
you reckon that's what you want to do for the rest of your life?
I don't know. I actually become a citizen like last year.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Because my mum's Australian, so
Okay.
she is half Aboriginal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's where I get my brown from.
Yeah, okay.
No, I'm just kidding. My dad's Maori.
That's what I... See, I'm very gullible, but
Yeah.
I was like, I'm surely that's from
Surely your
Maori.
dad's Maori. You look more Maori than anything. Yeah, definitely Maori. My dad's Maori. My mum's white. My
Okay.
mum's a white Aboriginal. So
A white Aboriginal. Okay.
yeah, and so I become a citizen.
Yeah.
And then I'm looking at studying this
Cool.
year. Yeah.
What do you reckon you'll study?
I've always wanted to do counselling.
Yeah,
Like,
awesome.
always wanted to work with like youth and counselling.
That
so
sounds amazing.
yeah, thanks.
You'd be really good at that, I reckon, as
Thanks.
Yeah.
I hope I will be. So yeah. But I'll still work in hospitality at the same time. So
well. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It's just I haven't studied for a really long time. I think I did a bit of study because I worked for a big major hospitality company a few years ago. And we did a bit of study with them, but it wasn't, it was more like business stuff. And
Yeah.
yeah, it wasn't.
I reckon the
good.
fact, and this is just because I'm studying at the moment, doing graphic design.
Yeah.
But I was the same. I hadn't really studied, like, school was a write-off for me. I was
Right.
useless
Oh,
at
yeah,
it.
same.
I just didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
Never really done anything. When I was younger, I'd tried studying something and I lasted like a term or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I just got sick of it and bored.
Yeah.
But there's something about, I reckon, having lived, where you and I were both still young.
Yeah.
But like being that kind of mature age student,
Yeah.
there's something about that really just helps you. Like it's not easier,
Yeah.
but I think the work ethic is there.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I think if you've got to the point now where you go, you know what, I've been doing this, but this is really what I want to do.
Yeah.
You're committed to it a bit more.
Exactly.
Whereas if you come straight out of school, you're like, yeah, I don't know, I've got to do something.
Yeah.
And you'll also be able to rely on the experiences that you've had as well
Yeah.
to help you. You've even having gone through counselling yourself, knowing what was good, what was bad, what didn't
Exactly.
work.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. I think everyone should do counselling.
Yeah.
Like everybody.
Yeah.
So good.
I thought about doing it for a little while.
Have you ever done it?
Well, I've sat and talked to people, but
Right.
I haven't studied or anything. And for a little while there, I had myself on the bandwagon of, I want to be a counsellor. Because I hadn't, you mean have I had counselling?
Yeah.
Okay. As I was looking at you then, I was like, that's not what she meant. Yeah, I did.
We can go down that.
So that's the
too.
story. I was actually that's a good segue.
Yeah.
So I hadn't really been to a counsellor at all, and then it wasn't until I think it was last year or the year before. Well, it was last year. I found myself really in a spot where I was like, I don't know what I want to do.
Yeah.
And my personality, I'm all about like succeeding, I guess. I've got all these big dreams and goals in my head. And it can be very unhealthy, the way that I kind of self-talk myself about that. But it can also be healthy in that I have the will to get stuff done.
Yeah.
But I was just going round and round circles, and I found myself, well, it wasn't until I went to the counsellor, but he's like, oh, guess what? Like, looks like you have like, not like really hardcore, but pretty like the onset of depression because of it. Like I'd just be like exhausted. There'd be times where I just couldn't get out of bed.
Yeah.
I'd start thinking about, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And it'd just be so overwhelming. Like I'd have to go and sit on the bed.
Yeah.
And Danny would come in. She's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I just can't think."
Yeah, right.
And so she said, "Oh, you should go and see a counsellor." And I went, "Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I need that."
Yeah.
Being the idiot that I am. Anyway, I went along. Best thing ever.
It's so good.
This guy, shout out to Richard Fay. He's like a really good. I think he does majority of counselling with men. But I could be wrong about that as well. But he heads up an organisation called the Centre for Men.
Cool.
So I guess that's men.
Obviously.
Yeah. But just out of that experience, just seeing how valuable he didn't give me any answers.
Yeah, okay.
But he set the scene and allowed me to kind of work through and find those answers myself.
Yes.
Out of that experience, I was like, I know what I want to be. I want to be a counsellor.
Right.
Turns out I think I was only doing that because I had a good experience as a counsellor.
Yeah.
But those skills, and I actually want to, he's on my like list of people that I'll sit down with and talk to for this podcast.
That'd be cool. I'd listen to that. Sure.
Those base skills that he was, using at that time of just listening properly and knowing when to say something and not to say something and help. And like there was a lot of awkward silence.
Yeah.
But it was helping me find the answer for myself. Like he never once answered the question for me or anything.
Yeah.
I think that would be so valuable.
Yeah.
Like I want to try and learn some of those skills even for doing this.
Yeah.
To be able to listen properly and be fully engaged, because there's a listening and then there's another level of listening.
Exactly.
That's what I'm learning. But that's how do we get there again? I don't know. What we
counselling.
Counselling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, because that's what I wanted to study.
Yeah.
But I actually really admire the fact that you're like, I like that you'll go, this is what I feel like I want to do, and then you do it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's great.
I do that, but I probably there's a bit of stuff that you don't see that like
for sure.
Danielle would tell you otherwise when I'm like complaining to her, going, oh, maybe I should do this.
Yeah.
And then there's been and I'm trying to do that better now, but I'm a serial like. I just jump from thing to thing.
Yeah.
Like I've done so many hobbies in my life.
Right.
Like there's surfboards here and skateboards here and different things. And,
yeah.
And they're all great, but I'm kind of, my personality as well is I want to do things because I'm always trying to do things the best it can possibly be.
Yeah.
I put all this pressure on myself to be like, and I'm a big dreamer. Like and bought a skateboard in my, so now, everything I look at on YouTube and social media is skateboarders.
Yeah, yeah,
And after skateboarding for like, because I used to skate as a kid heaps,
yeah.
and I was alright at it, and then trying to get back into it as like a 28-year-old, it was alright, but I was like, oh, I should be better than this. Why aren't I doing this?
Yeah.
And I just give up.
Yeah, okay.
But like, no one became good at anything.
Yeah.
If they gave up.
Yeah,
you know?
That's true.
But yeah, I'm trying to kind of just start, do something.
Yeah, yeah.
My
Yeah.
like mantra for this year, I guess, is like progress over perfection.
Yeah,
I think,
that's good.
which is, you know, I even with this podcast, it's something I've wanted to do for so long,
Yeah.
and I had a crack at it last year.
Yeah.
Did 4 episodes, really enjoyed them. That when I would compare them to like the podcasts that I listen to,
Right.
that are, you know, one of the guys I listen to podcast is Joe Rogan.
Okay.
And he's up to like 1,300 episodes or something.
Wow.
Been going for 10
Yeah, okay.
years.
Right.
We compare it to his stuff.
Yeah.
You're like, well, of course it's not going to be as good as that.
Yeah, exactly.
And what does as good as that even mean?
Yeah.
But I'm like, no, well, I've just got to start,
Exactly.
keep doing it,
Yeah.
and write a list of people that I want to talk to,
Yeah.
and go and talk to them.
Yeah.
You know?
He probably would listen to his first podcast and just be like,
Oh yeah.
what?
Well, that's what I did. I went back. I do that with quite a few things. Like whenever I find like a cool YouTuber that I like or something,
Yeah.
I try and look at their oldest video as well.
Yeah.
To kind of just as like a bit of a catch, so that my head doesn't go into that kind
Yeah.
of thinking.
Like
so
it
that
needs to be perfect. Or I guess not perfect, but. You know.
well, yeah, like it needs to be at this level that you can really only get through a lot of practice.
Yeah. Experience, practice.
Yeah.
And then money thrown at it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm reading this book at the moment called Grit by Angela Duckworth. It's she's a psychologist, and it's literally all about like she went through and studied people who were sort of experts in their field or who had succeeded, people from like Olympians through to celebrities, actors, chess masters or whatever, or like kids at spelling, like the America's Spelling Bee or whatever.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm only halfway through, but she talks about how the biggest, like people go, oh, that person has so much talent.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you know, that she looks at this person, Rowdy Gaines or someone. He's an American swimmer.
Yeah,
Have you
okay.
I've heard
of the name. I
Yeah.
have.
And everyone at the time were like, oh, this guy, he swims like he's just like a fish in the water. He has so much natural talent.
Yeah.
But when she interviewed him, she's like, okay, no, talent is like a tiny bit of the equation.
Yeah.
The rest is just pure, just determination, practice.
Yeah.
And then also, like, if you try and do 10 things at once,
Yeah.
you won't do them well.
No.
Just try and do one thing and do it really
Exactly.
well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she's like, it's really tough to constantly, when something comes up that tries to grab your attention,
Yeah.
to be like, no, even though I may not be as passionate right now at this thing, this is what I'm committed to.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so that's what I'm trying to do as much as possible.
Yeah.
Because, the only way to do it is to keep doing it.
Exactly.
You know, to get better is to keep doing it.
Yeah.
And to just, I'm enjoying that kind of learning as well.
Yeah.
Because, I'm still not very good at it.
Yeah.
But I just like talking to people.
Yeah.
But I want to get better at talking to people.
Yeah.
And not just in a podcast situation, but just in life as well.
Everyday life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like actually learning to listen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm an extrovert, but I'm not very good at just walking up and talking to somebody.
Yeah.
Because I hate small talk.
Oh yeah.
Like my brain, and it's really bad, but in small talk, I'll just shut off.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm not
same.
listening. If
No.
you ask me, oh no, how's your day today?
Yeah.
2 minutes in,
I know, right?
I'm off. I'm gone. But I also understand that there's not every situation where you can walk in and meet someone new and in 2 minutes be talking to them about
Deep stuff.
what they think about, what their views on Donald Trump
Yeah.
are, things like this. People don't really appreciate that.
No.
And
it's
even
true.
some of my friends I've noticed in conversation, I'll always try and, like even in our life group, I guess, I've tried to, I'll try and go a bit deeper on things.
Right.
And there's a time and a place for that.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I haven't been very good at picking the time
Right.
or the place. So I want to kind of learn the skills more of, which is, sounds bad at 28, trying to learn the skills of how to have a conversation. But, just being able to sit there and listen.
Exactly.
But then also just being able to talk to someone who I don't really know that well.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like that's a good skill to have.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. Because then people, often also, it's what I love about people who listen really well, is then people tend to actually really like you as a person instead of, they'll kind of go to if they need something.
Yeah. People just want to feel heard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know like my best friends in life, they're people who, when I kind of sit there and talk to them, I can tell that they're listening.
Yeah.
Like, they're not playing on their phone or they're not. I've been in conversations with people and I've heard it in podcasts I listen to, and so I'm really conscious of not doing it myself, even though I probably do sometimes. You can tell that the person listening is not listening, but they're thinking about the next thing they're going to say.
Yeah, exactly.
And so when they actually do say it, it's not relative to what the other person just said at all.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I guess that's why even when we're talking about this podcast, like, you coming on the podcast, I said, well, the format is this. There'll be some questions that I'll ask, but I really want to kind of just follow my train of curiosity. So when something that I hear grabs my attention, I'll go, let's dig into that more.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah.
Which I feel like people that are listening as well, I feel like my job if it really is to ask the questions that they would have asked.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can't do that for everything, obviously.
No.
But
But like in a conversational way.
Yeah, in a conversational way. Like I've listened to other interviews with, say, an expert on something, and they'll say something which they know what that means.
Yeah.
But as a listener, I'm like, I don't know what that thing is that is relevant to the story.
Yeah.
I'm like, why didn't you just ask? It would take 2 seconds. Oh, what is that? What is that? Or, listening to like a doctor or a psychologist, and they say a word that's 50 syllables long.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I have no idea what that means.
Yeah.
Can you just explain that?
Explain it, yeah.
I feel like as a listener, that's the questions that we want to ask.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
That's good.
but yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Love it. I mean, counselling, listening, all of that. You don't have to have a certificate to be a counsellor. You just be on your podcast.
Yeah.
Never know.
But I guess I looked into that. Like this, you don't have to be have a certificate, but it's like if you were to start your own kind of, is it a practice, I guess?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of nice to have
for sure.
And the training and things like that. Yeah.
But you might through people listening conversationally, as in, your podcast, sit down, have a chat, they might actually get free from something because it is that.
Yeah, that's kind of my hope in a way.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, that's not my aim for like every conversation, but I guess that's why, like, even some of the stuff I was talking to you about.
Yeah.
It's just me sensitively trying to dig into some of that stuff as well.
Yeah.
Because I know personally how much by sharing something, it frees you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I went to did a course a few years ago, and on the first night we had to share our life story.
Oh yeah.
Which for me was terrifying.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I was like, I don't have a big life story.
Yeah.
And we had to do it. We had a minimum of an hour and a half.
Wow.
And that's an hour and a half of you not asking questions.
No,
that's just me
listening.
talking.
Wow.
And it was only in a group of 3 or 4 people. But, I'd build it up in my head so much. Oh, this is useless. What's the point of doing this?
Yeah.
No one cares about my story. But after sharing, all the deepest crap in my life and all the good stuff as well.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, hang on. It had nothing to do with those people getting something out of my story. It had all to do with me sharing my own story.
Yeah, yeah.
But then the cool thing was, by me sharing my story and then me listening to the other guys' stories, there were things in their story that I identified with, and I was like, "Wow, that's really helped me."
Yeah.
Like it wasn't there was no advice.
Yeah.
It wasn't advice at all. It was just listening to their story, and even things like it was stuff that they were going through that they hadn't necessarily worked through fully.
Right.
By hearing that they were going through the same stuff I was going through,
Yeah.
that gave me a hope, and not necessarily like a healing in that, but it validated what I was feeling as well.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love testimony stories.
Yeah.
They're
Me too.
amazing. No one can like argue with it. If you're a Christian and you give it like a message, people can argue biblical
Yeah.
whatever.
Like if you give a like a sermon or
Yeah.
like a yeah, okay.
Or even if you're like, you've got medical advice, someone's gonna, can have some sort of argument against it.
Yeah.
But if it's your story,
Yeah.
like it's your truth, no one can really argue with it.
No.
It is
Yeah,
what
they
it
they
is.
might question some of it, but they can't. It's your experience.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's a valid experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love
Yeah,
it.
it's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's something so powerful about them. And I feel like as well, in the more and more that we kind of become technological, we're
Oh,
only
yeah.
seeing snippets of people's stories.
Oh, for
Like
sure.
there's something powerful, I think, about this long form
Yeah.
kind of version
Yeah.
of just hearing a conversation.
Yeah.
Because we're not doing that anymore,
Oh.
as much anymore.
Not at all.
Like even
really.
texting, like I find myself some of the conversations I'm having with my friends are pretty deep,
Yeah.
but it's all through text.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, like,
And like a half a sentence.
Yeah.
sort of. Yeah.
you like imagine how much like more rich, and maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Imagine how much more like healthy and rich this could be if we were sitting down like
Exactly.
this. You know.
Having like a
Yeah.
face-to-face conversation.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't do it enough, but the times where I've kind of sat down with, just had a beer with a mate,
Yeah.
we've kind of just shared what we're going through and stuff.
Yeah.
That's really important.
It is. It's so important. Like, I
Mm.
think good times and bad times, you can't really get through things without, being able
Yeah.
to sit down and share with someone.
Yeah, definitely.
It's really important.
And yeah, not to necessarily get the answers,
Yeah.
which is what I have to be careful with when I'm listening to people, because
Yeah.
I'm like a fixer. So in the back of my
I think-
mind, I'm like, oh,
Every man is like that, though, aren't they?
yeah,
You
maybe.
like tell them a story. You tell them, they're like, okay, I'm going to fix this for you.
Yeah.
You're like,
Well, it makes
"No."
sense.
Yeah.
But I know it doesn't necessarily help. Sometimes it helps. There's a balance.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, no, there's a definite thing you could do right now, and then we wouldn't have to have the 2 hour.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about my wife at all right now. But yeah, there's a definite thing that if you did right now, this would all be over.
Yeah.
But then there's other times where I'm like, Danielle doesn't want me to fix this right now.
You sound
and it-
like John.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's important, I think.
Sometimes you have to like Danny, if you're listening. Well, sometimes you got to pre-warn, like, hey, I'm about to tell you something. Just letting you know I don't want an answer.
Yeah, she does that.
I'm just going to download.
I've had that a few times. Yeah.
Yeah. I have to give disclaimers every now and then. When I want an answer, sometimes John's like, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't understand. It doesn't make sense to me, but hey, if it all made sense, it wouldn't be fun, right?
Iron sharpening iron.
Yeah. So you're gonna study this year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
Study.
Do it. I reckon you'd be awesome at
Yeah,
it.
thanks. I haven't even really looked into it yet because I've been so busy, but I think I'll have a geese. That's an Australian word, eh? Have a geese.
I think so. Yeah, have a geese.
Yeah.
There's a few, like Sophie, like she's studying counselling.
Yeah.
She'd be a good person to talk to.
Yeah, I did have a chat with her a while ago about it. So,
There's another place that I found in, I think it's called like the Australian Centre for Counselling or something, but they're just in Mount Gravatt,
right.
near Garden City,
Okay.
and they do like courses and stuff.
Interesting.
So that'd be another place to look into.
Yeah.
But
I like, I'm stuck between like Christian counselling or just,
what's Christian counselling?
well, I mean like going through like CHC or
Oh,
something.
okay,
Because
yeah,
I
yeah.
think they do a lot of Christian-based stuff.
I guess, yeah, probably.
Yeah. So I don't know if I want to do that or just like normal study.
Just be like counselling.
Yeah.
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 I guess, yeah. It all depends what you want to do.
Yeah.
It all like it's funny those things where it's like, and I don't know if this is what CHC is doing, but becoming like a Christian counsellor, or
Yeah.
or do you want to become a counsellor
Yeah.
who's a Christian?
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly. I want to be a counsellor. I don't think I want to be like Christian counsellor.
I
have no idea really.
Interesting. I sat down with the same before, maybe before we started. I sat down and chatted with a 91-year-old guy last week for an episode for this, and he found himself working with the Indigenous people up in Mornington Island, which is like the top of Darwin kind of area.
Right.
And then he found himself in the prison system as like a prison chaplain, and his thing was like, every single person is just a person.
Yeah.
We just have to love.
Yeah.
And I after talking to him and I think we talked about it a bit after we'd finished the episode, unfortunately, but the way that he was explaining how the processes he's worked through to not be judgmental to anyone. Like, he worked in the prison system, and then he became friends with a guy who was in there for murder.
Wow.
And when he got released, he's like, "Oh, I need a place to stay." He just came and lived with him and his wife at his house.
Wow.
You know, this sort of thing. He hadn't told his wife until that day. He was "Oh, there's somebody coming to stay and live with us." She's like, "Oh, okay, where's he from?" "Oh, the prison." "Oh, what did he do?" "Oh, he murdered someone." Like, oh, that would not go down well with my wife.
And they were married for
long. His wife passed away this year.
Oh.
But they were married for a long time.
Wow.
But
he was 93?
91.
91, and she was
I think they're similar age. I didn't ask that, but from what his story was, it sounded like they were pretty similar in age.
That's amazing.
Yeah, pretty incredible.
That is
But
amazing.
yeah, that's what going back to, I think that, and it's something that I constantly have to check myself on and learn, but that there's no point judging anyone.
Exactly.
Everyone's just a person.
Yeah.
And that's what I've found sometimes, growing up as a Christian, I found myself into that situation a bit where I'm like, no. And I think even going to uni as an older student and just meeting so many different people that are so different to me, but are so interesting and so friendly and so cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, these people are awesome.
Yeah.
Like,
do you find like maybe like because of your church growing up in church, I guess, was the factor in you not really meeting people of different
100%.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And it's something that that's one of the reasons I'm doing this podcast. Yeah. But it's also, I found myself in a bit of a bubble, of just friends who go to church. Yeah. And so then every time we hang out as friends, or everything you talk about is the church. Yeah. It doesn't help that a lot of my friends work for the church as well, that's not bad. That's great. Yeah. It's awesome. Yeah. But I really want to also surround myself with people who are not from that. Exactly. And not just because I want them to become a Christian. Yeah. But just because what they have is really valuable as well. Yeah. And I want to learn stuff from them. Yeah. And just broaden my horizons. Yeah. Which I am doing. I do have other friends who aren't in church, but I want to sort of sit down and talk to people.
Exactly. Because I've actually noticed, I think from my age and growing up in the last how many years at church, I've you kind of surround yourself in the Christian circles, and then I don't know why, but I think I do it. Not consciously do it. I put myself up on like a pedestal because I've got higher values. It's how I see it. I think I've got better values. So then I think, well, I wouldn't ask you for advice on this or talk to you about this because how would you, to help me through this because you don't have the same values. Yeah. And I think that's like so sad.
What do you mean by values?
I guess, say if you're having marriage problems or something, like going to a non-Christian. Okay, like we don't share the same sort of values.
Yeah, that's what you mean.
Yeah, and so
you kind of think, oh well, what I believe is the be all and end all.
Yeah.
Therefore, if you don't share that, then what you have is not valuable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's like, but they could have like
Oh, yeah,
a very valid, great,
definitely.
which I've learned, advice, and it helps you probably more so than somebody that I think, in
Definitely.
church, because it's just, yeah.
Yeah. You kind of have that outside perspective sometimes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And yeah.
I just also think it's like, it's what when you read the Bible, that's what Jesus did.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't just he barely hang around with like the people in church.
No.
He hung around with everybody.
Exactly.
He had dinner with everybody.
Mm.
And that's what I want to start doing.
Exactly.
Like,
Same.
I think it's important. I think there's a limit. Like, I think it's important that you have, you're always going to have a core group of people that you love and trust,
For
that are
sure.
your closest friends. I think it's probably pretty important that they share the same values as you.
Definitely.
But I think it's that you're wider. That's not true. You might have a best friend who's doesn't necessarily share the same values with
Yeah.
you.
My best friend's
Yeah.
not Christian.
Yeah.
I love her.
That's awesome.
Like, dearly.
Mm.
And I would go to her and she'd have great advice.
Yeah.
But I've had to learn that.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's important.
Yeah.
Definitely. And yeah, I hope to meet more people like that through doing this as well. Yeah.
I think obviously you will.
Yeah. It's just finding those people.
Yeah.
That's what I enjoy though. That's the challenge of it. It's the fun part. Yeah.
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 Like some things that happen in Christian circles, or I guess in a church, it's really hard to explain those things to non-Christians sometimes.
Yeah.
And then, but when you tell them, like, they've I'm very taken back by just how sensible the advice is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they're not judging, they don't often know what's going on, and they just give you really good advice.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's really good, thanks. Where I think I have had that same thing. I've gone, I guess, for people within church, and they're so scared of gossip and like judging that they don't know what to say.
Yeah. I find sometimes as well, and I've been guilty of this, but you're so scared of that you end up doing that anyway.
Yeah.
And even more so.
Yeah. Exactly.
So you're like, well, no, let's just love each other.
Yeah.
Like, which is way easier said than done.
Oh, for sure.
Sometimes, but I think it's as you get older as well, you go, well, hang on, as I said, we're all just people.
Yeah.
We're all the same.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely go and do counselling, I reckon.
Thanks. I think, yeah. I've got to get into it. It's like middle of January already, nearly.
Yeah.
So
you can always, I'm
it.
sure there's mid-year intakes and all that stuff.
Yeah.
but
I haven't even really looked into it properly.
Yeah. Well,
so.
yeah, look into it.
Yeah, thanks. I think I will. Got time tomorrow after work.
That's what life's too short to like be like, oh, I'll do it next time, because before you know, you've done it. Like,
yeah.
And it's one of those things like even if you get into it and you go, oh, actually, this is not necessarily what I want to do.
Yeah.
But if you are feeling like that's the next thing you want to do,
yeah.
Even if you come out of it and you go, I don't know if I want to be a paid counsellor.
Yeah.
Imagine the skills you'll have learned.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can always, I guess, like, even if it does take me a while, you can always, find something else that you're passionate about.
Definitely.
And yeah.
And it's the sort of thing you can practice what you're learning every day.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, even if it's just you talking, obviously you got to be careful that not everything turns into a counselling session.
Yeah.
But like even the people that you work with, for instance, I'm sure in the counselling you start to learn how to like question asking or how to listen.
Exactly.
You can go, I'm going to practice that today.
Yeah, exactly.
So even that would be cool.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Like I do a little bit of like looking into it and online sort of knowledge and
Yeah.
obviously not proper study, but yeah. I love God of like moments, you know, where just a divine appointment and because of going to counselling, I learnt so much just going. And there was like this awesome divine appointment that I was totally meant to have.
What do you mean? Sorry, what do you mean by divine appointment?
Like as in I was meant to be at this right spot at that time.
All right, yeah.
To help someone. That's how I would define.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had one of those moments where it was just random that I had to be in this place at this moment in time, and I just stopped and helped someone, and they were about to kill themselves.
Wow.
But all the like training, well, not training, it's just because I'd been through so much counselling, I was like, I could, you know, bring all that knowledge back.
You were able
in.
to share that experience.
Yeah, exactly.
That you had gone through.
And I think like I have those moments, I'm like, yeah, that's kind of what I want to
go for it.
I
then.
want to do it.
Yeah, if you have those moments and you go, wow, I feel incredible.
Yeah.
Then chase that feeling.
Exactly.
That sounds like a Coke ad or something, like a Coca-Cola ad. Chase that feeling.
Chase that feeling.
Something like that. One of those
I've
ones.
never heard Coke say that.
Oh, well, there you go. Well,
Mountain Dew.
One of those ones. Something like maybe Nike. No, that's just do it. Anyway,
do it.
Yeah, go for it. Do it.
So
yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll get there.
It's one of those things I've been looking at. Even this book this grit book I'm reading.
Yeah.
She's like, it's those are the feelings that these people are chasing after that, you know, and like they talk about these Olympians where the swimming Olympian, 4:30, like waking up every morning at 4 a.m. to go and swim in the pool, like that sucks.
Yeah.
They don't, like one of the guys is like, I don't enjoy that at all.
Yeah.
But I enjoy the feeling of winning.
Exactly.
And the feeling of beating my personal best.
Yeah.
So he's like, I realize that there's those bits that I have to deal with to get that feeling.
Yeah.
Which is the same with study. You know, you would have to, there's part, even as a counselor, I'm sure you would have clients where you're like, oh my gosh, come on, you don't need to be here.
Yeah.
But you're still helping them. But it helps you then. You go, well, the next client could be different.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Go for it. On that note, I reckon we should wrap it up. But this has been so much fun.
Thanks. Heaps.
Thanks for being like open as well and like sharing your life.
Thanks. I feel like, hope it's not too boring.
It won't be boring.
That doesn't matter anyway.
No, it doesn't. It's not boring. As you said, life experiences.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't argue with them, and they're also, it's not boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is this podcast called?
At the moment, it's called My Curious Mind.
Oh, yeah.
But that could change.
Oh.
But at the same token, I've just got to start. Progress over perfection.
I feel like something with the name Richer when it's got to be there.
Yeah, it's like My Curious Mind with Rich Bryant.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know. That's the thing that's holding me up at the moment.
Yeah. Okay.
Like if I wait and get a perfect name with no episodes, what's the point?
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. So like, let's just start getting content and episodes, and then I can decide about the name
later.
But yeah.
That's funny.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
The one I used to have one called The Rich Life. Rich Life.
Right.
But then I think I let the domain expire.
Oh.
And now someone's got it.
Oh.
Probably for like some like self-help millionaire pyramid scheme thing or something.
And they're like trying to find one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Watch the space, but for now it's just called My Curious Mind. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called anyway. But I think that's on Spotify. Yeah. But no, thanks, Tercia. This has been a blast.
Thanks, Richo. It's been good.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.